Hi Denise.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, good. And you?
I'm really good. It's great to talk to you.
Yeah, it's been about a week right now, right?
Yeah, it's been a week.
Yeah, oh, it's been a week. Yeah. And how's life over there?
Life's great. I can't complain. Things are going really well.
Is spring starting to kick in, or
Well, it actually just snowed, even though it's
really?
spring, and it's supposed to snow even more, which is not fun because I'm all about warm weather and this is not doing it for me. So I cannot wait until it's actually spring.
Yikes. And where are you based? New York, right?
In New Jersey. Yeah, I'm
New
pretty
Jersey,
close to
yeah.
New York, about 45 minutes or
Yeah,
so.
I actually noticed that from a client of mine on his Instagram stories last week that it was snowing. I was like, what the fuck, man? That's like, it's getting spring in here. It's like 90 degrees. It's perfect.
Yep. What's it like over there for you?
Yeah, spring is actually starting to kick in. I've fired up my barbecue a few times this week, so I'm a happy man.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Love barbecue.
yeah, me too. Yeah, so first of all, thanks for taking the time to do this with me,
No problem.
and of course for all the people who are listening right now or watching this video. A little background story. I think this is a proper example when it comes down to networking. Like how did we met? We met through Instagram stories. And can you tell a little bit more about how that worked and how that ended up?
Sure, yeah. So I basically am looking to go more into doing music business and marketing mentorship with artists. So I was just going through Instagram looking at different hashtags, and you were one of the only people that popped up.
Yay
So I
me!
just started following you. Yeah, good job with your Instagram marketing.
Yeah.
So that's how I found you. And you just happened to see that I was watching your story and reached out before I did because I just didn't get a chance to do it yet. So
Yeah.
that's how we connected.
Yeah, it's fun
Thanks for
because
reaching out.
yeah, no problem. But it's fun because every now and then I just go to my Instagram stories and I have a look at people who are looking at my stories, just to keep up with who's following me actually.
Right.
And
That's smart.
yeah, and I just noticed your name. But the one thing that I noticed is that besides your name, because I've never met you before, and that didn't stand out at all, because there's a million
Mhm.
people called Denise on the world. But um, what stood out was that in the what's it called, subtitle or whatever, in the subtitle stood like EDM World Magazine or a co-founder or whatever, and I was like, oh, I've never heard of that before, let me just check it out. And then I reached out to you like, hey, what's that and what are you doing? And we did this short Skype call, and now we're here. So I think this is just a perfect example for people who are listening. Yeah, how to network, like this is how it works, this is how easy it could be. And I think that's really important for people to understand.
It's so easy. And a lot of people are like, how did you get this interview with this artist? How'd you get an interview with this artist? And I'm like, you just have to provide value and it has to be
Yeah,
a win-win situation. And it's much easier than you think, especially now with social media. I mean, you can just reach out and take your chances. And the worst thing that
yeah,
happens is you get a no. So
yeah.
don't
And
let
what
that
happens if
discourage
you get
you.
a no? Like it's nothing actually.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Just keep trying, follow up again, and maybe eventually you'll get a yes.
yeah, perfect. So tell me a little bit more about the EDM World Mag, because you told me a little bit about it last time, but I think it's important for everyone to know this platform as well. Um, so yeah, go ahead. Tell me what's EDM World Mag and how did you end up founding it actually, right?
Sure, yeah, I'm solo owner, and I'll just tell you a little bit about my backstory and kind of how I came to where I was today and starting the magazine.
Sure.
I went to school for business management. Actually, funny story. I applied for music management at my school and I was lied to and was told that I had to play an instrument and like actually apply that way. And even though I grew up playing the piano and playing the flute, like I'm not good. I wasn't really trying to become an artist myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I just was like, okay, I'll just go, the regular business school. And I'm actually happy that happened because I got a better overall business degree. But yeah, growing up for me, music was just always a big part of my life. I did dance and music was always on in my house. I can't remember a time when music wasn't part of my life.
How old are you
We'd go
right
on road
now?
trips. 29.
20. Me too. Well, perfect
Oh, wow,
age.
nice.
Yeah. Okay, so
And
go ahead.
yeah, so um, basically, like, I just knew music was always important to me. And in middle school, I unfortunately found out that my mom had gotten non-smokers lung cancer.
Mm.
So I had to deal with, that difficult time in my life. And unfortunately, she lost the battle to it. But music really helped me get through that. And at that time, I was listening to more like rock music and, emo, if you will, type music. And so going to shows was really important and helpful for me. And ever since then, I just kind of made this decision that I wanted to work in the music industry. I wanted to be able to help artists because I knew I didn't want to personally be an artist myself. And I saw so many people struggling. There's so many starving artists. I hate that term.
Yeah.
And I just really wanted to be a help when it comes to the business and marketing side of things. So then I obviously went to school and I did like help some of my friends here and there. But what I quickly realized with working with artists, I was trying to go more the management route, was that a lot of them were just cool with playing, once a weekend here and there, and they didn't really want to be a big star. And I have like big aspirations. So I really wanted to find people who really wanted to make it big. And I was having a really difficult time finding someone that I really gelled well with and be able to have that relationship. So I decided to start my own magazine. And I thought that would be a great way for me to help artists because not only help artists, but also other people in the industry and be a new resource for them, because one of the number one complaints was that it was hard for them to market themselves and get out there and find a new audience. So creating the magazine, I thought it was a great new way to do that.
And when did you start this?
So I started this in 2013. So it's been like 5 years or so.
So you decided to start a magazine in the period where all magazine sales went down, actually.
Exactly. Basically, yeah.
That's a bold move.
But what I did was the magazine is actually inside of an app. And so we are very different from traditional magazines because we're 100% digital. We're not print. And so I thought that was really unique and different. And because of that, we're designed to optimize for digital. So we can have links and videos, and it's not just all text in the magazine. And to me, that made it way more unique and forward thinking than the traditional print magazine. So we do get a lot of requests, people asking for us to be a print magazine. And I'm like, I'm sorry, like I appreciate your request, but it's going to cost double the price of, a traditional subscription now that we have. And so I'd much rather it be a better experience than just to try and make some more money. So that's where we're at.
And did you immediately start it off as an app, or did the app came later because it's something you have to get built and it probably costs some money? Did you start off through a website and the app came later, or did the whole package started at the beginning?
Nope, it started completely from the app. I actually use a template, if you will, for the app. So I didn't have to know what's called the coding, which is the back end. I only really had to worry about the front end, which is the design and the content of the magazine. So that helped me to just go straight to the app, and I didn't have to worry about all that difficult tech stuff.
The tech
I'm
nerd
pretty
stuff.
techy, but not like that.
Yeah. And you did this all on your own, so you didn't have anyone who helped you with it, or
Yeah, starting out, I did it all on my own. I actually tried to design the first issue, which was a horrible idea because I am not a designer. And I quickly learned that there's no way I could do this on my own. So I cannot say that, it's all just me. I have an amazing team, about 20 people right now, and
20 people, wow.
we all do different things. So yeah, it's been really amazing to build up an amazing team of people who are really good at the things that I'm not good at, because that's one thing that I learned, is that you have to be able to delegate out the things that you're not good at and give them to other people so that you can focus on the things that you are good at and increase those skills.
Yeah, it's exactly. I always tell that to artists as well, like focus on your strengths and lay down on the lower points, because that's most of the time where managements or bookers come in, you know, like that's just
Exactly.
simply sales and simply marketing. And also that's one of the things that most artists don't really understand. So a good management or a good booker can definitely help you with that. But unfortunately, not all bookers or managers are good in it. So
Yep.
okay, so you're 29 and you've already founded yeah, a pretty yeah, how do you say that? Like successful magazine right now, or online magazine app actually.
hmm
Is it something you
I
do
called
full?
it I call it a digital magazine app. That's
Yeah,
how I refer to it.
yeah, great one. So that's something you do full time right now, or?
Yep, it's what I'm doing full time. We recently, within the last year, have started publishing on our website as well. So we have all the paid content is inside the app. That's we publish it monthly, and we have like a free trial, so you can check it out for free. But we also wanted to provide even more content for everyone, other opportunities, because obviously the magazine, you have to have some sort of, standards for the magazine in terms of who we're featuring. We're not just going to feature anyone inside there. But for our website, we can be a little bit more open and helping more up and comers with that. So all the content on our website is for free. So that's the two main areas where we post content, and obviously on our social medias. And then the direction that I'm trying to go in is I still want to be able to help artists more one-on-one because, since I've been running the magazine, I've seen so many mistakes that artists make, and I'm just like, oh, I want to help these people figure it out. And
Hmm.
I just have been doing this now for 5 years. I'm running a business, and I look at artists as they are a mini business, and the skills that you need to run a business go hand in hand with artists.
It's the
And
exact
so,
same thing actually. That's something so many people forget. But you're just running a business, you know, and a lot of people think it's only about the creative part, but it's just the tiniest bit of the whole pizza, you know. Like it's yeah, it's crazy to see that so many people underestimate it.
yeah, I always say that it should be 50-50. 50% of you being creative, making music,
Hmm.
and the rest 50% should be sales and marketing. And if you're
Yeah,
not splitting your time between those two, then you're missing half of the puzzle.
yeah, true. So you were saying like you've been in this industry for like 5 years now, and you already gathered some experience. And what's the thing that the biggest mistake or the most common mistake you see happening with artists right now?
Ooh, the biggest mistake. That's a tough one. There's a lot. I would say when it comes to them marketing themselves, they just don't understand that you are building a relationship with your fans. You're not just like spamming them. So a lot of people just share links. They don't even explain why they're sharing the link, or every time they post, it's buy my music, check out my show, come pay me and give me money. It's
Yeah.
there's no relationship building. And if you're especially new starting out, this is the perfect time for you to build that relationship with your fans because you have that time and freedom to do so. When you're a big artist touring, you don't have as much time to do that. So while you have a bigger audience, you can't build as strong of relationship with people. So use it to your advantage, and talk to people in the DM, get to know them, find out what they like, what they don't like. Ask them what they want from you. At the end of the day, your music is for them. It's not for you. If you want it to be a business,
Yeah.
if you don't want it to be a business, it's totally cool. Just,
Yeah.
you don't need to worry about any of that. But if you are trying to make it a business, then you have to remember that your music is for them.
Yeah, that's a great point you're touching right there because I think last week or 2 weeks ago, anyway, I received a message on my Facebook from someone like, "Hey man, all that content you're putting out, it's so untrue, and you're bashing the music industry." It's like, dude, no. It's like if you don't want to make money with music, or if you just want to play on the streets or whatever you would like to do, I don't mind, you know, like feel free to do it and yeah, be
Right.
happy with doing that. But if you want to make a living out of music, and if you want to make money because you need money to make a living, you know, then you should do different things aside of making just music. And that's
hmm
what my content is made for, and your content is going to be made for that as well. So it's just so underestimated, and a few people just get really attacked if you start mentioning money and music in the same sentence. It's like, well, what the
Hmm.
fuck? I don't want to do. I don't want to have anything to do with that. It's just a crazy thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely a mindset shift that has to be made.
Hmm.
And I think the more an artist looks at it as a business, the more they'll realize it's not a business if you're not making money. And so if you wanted to keep it just, as a hobby, that's cool. Like I have nothing wrong with that. That's just a decision you have to make. And a lot of people make that decision to keep it a hobby, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, exactly. I actually posted a video as of today when we recorded this. What was it? I created a quote like music isn't a business. Music is a business, and business is about money. Like that's
That's a
what
good
people.
quote.
Yeah, that's what people seem to forget in this industry. So yeah, it's just a fun thing to me. Well, um, let's dive a little bit deeper into the last few years because you've been into this 5 years. What has been the most interesting development to you in the music industry? Like, could be on music production or maybe on music marketing, or what's something that happened in the last few years where you were like, this is a game changer.
Hmm. I would say definitely social media. I mean, everything has just taken off, and people finally have realized that these are free tools that you can use to get in front of an audience. And the more people you can get in front of, the more people you can touch with your music. So I think that's been the biggest thing. Um, and I definitely think that a lot of people don't use it to their advantage. Like the whole thing recently with Snapchat, people
Hmm.
are like, oh, I don't want to use Snapchat anymore. They changed the way the user interface is. It's still a free platform. All these artists who have millions of fans,
Yeah,
for them to leave a platform, like that is just insanity to me. You have to look past those things
yeah.
and still use the platform for your benefit. That's what I think. What about you? What do you think?
Well, and a lot of things happened actually, but I'm going to take one recent thing, and I'm really curious about your opinion as well. What do you think about the recent changes on the Facebook algorithm? Like, how many people were complaining about that? Like a lot of people tend to forget that it's not really normal that those kind of reaches are free. You know,
Hmm.
and people have to start paying for it for the small amounts, 10 euro, 20 euro, whatever. um, and they just keep on complaining and complaining, and I think that's weird, but I'm curious to hear your opinion.
Yeah, so my opinion is definitely different than I think most people. I actually kind of look at it as a bait and switch because people like they've baited us to come to the platform, use it for free, and now they're like, "Oh, never mind, sorry, you have to pay for it." And that was something that I never wanted to do with the magazine, and that's why I started the magazine off paid and haven't changed it to free or haven't changed the business model at all because I want to start with what I think is going to be moving forward. And so I kind of feel like that's what they do. They bait and switch, and a lot of people do that. They try and build up a big user base, and they're like, all right, now it's time to monetize.
Hmm.
So that's kind of my opinion on it, but I agree it is a business. They have to make money some way,
Exactly.
and
I think everyone who starts off building an app or building a platform eventually has the dream
mhm,
to create a living out of it, the same as artists do, like they want to
mhm,
make a living out of it as well. The difference is Facebook is worth like a $1 zillion right now.
mhm,
And the fact is that there's so many content out there, and then I really believe, but that's just maybe my simple, humble opinion. I really believe that those companies do those things and like change the algorithms to keep the information better for the users. To
mhm,
make to create a filter which makes your user experience at the best way possible. Because it's impossible to see all the content out there on a daily basis. It's crazy how many videos get uploaded, how many texts, how many photos. You'll get flooded. So they just pick out those things that work the best, or maybe another company or another artist had paid for to be in front of your face. And I just think that's a really, yeah, that's like a normal way how the world works.
mhm. I definitely think though that because Facebook is so massive that they would still be making enough money with the people who do want to pay for ads and do want to
True. Yeah.
expand their growth and their reach exponentially.
Yeah.
So I don't think they necessarily needed to do that per se to stay afloat. but I understand why they did it, like you said,
Yeah,
so
I
I
don't.
can't really be mad.
No, but I don't. I don't think they did it for the money. I think they did it because Facebook has like, how do you say it in English? Um, they have bigger issues than money. You know, like if
Mhm.
something spreads on Facebook, which is bad news, the whole world's upside down. So they have a big responsibility to the world to share what's real and what's useful, because otherwise the whole world gets up and down. I don't think it's necessarily all about the money because they're rich as hell. So yeah, they don't even probably care about the money.
I see. You mean like more content management, making sure
Exactly.
that the best content is getting pushed out and not
Exactly.
the bad
Yeah.
content.
It's the same thing what happened with YouTube, you know. Do you know that story about that vlogger who uploaded a video with someone who died in the vlog?
Yeah, I think Logan
Yeah,
Paul, is that
Paul
his
Logan,
name?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But that's actually the same story, and that's an example of how bad things can go. Such a huge platform took like I think it took them 9 days to take the video offline. Um,
Oh, wow.
yeah, and that's just something that that's the responsibility a platform has towards the world,
Right.
because if a video like that spreads over the world, it's just a big impact to everyone, and that's the responsibility they have. And it's not just 10 videos that get uploaded every hour. It's like a million every minute. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Yeah. Well, let's move a little bit forward from that subject.
Sure.
um, what's your vision on the music industry right now? So, what do you think? Do you think it's what's interesting right now in your opinion?
That's a good question. I actually wrote a blog post on our website
Mm-hmm.
about what I think the trends are going to be for 2018. So if
Mm-hmm.
people want to check it out, they can check it out. But I really feel like what's going to happen is that more and more artists are, and I think it's already happened, but they're going to leave labels and start their own and become more independent and have full control of their own business so that they
Mm-hmm.
don't have to give up percentages of their revenue to labels. The biggest thing is getting an audience. And if you're already big and you already have that audience and that following, there's not as much need to stay on a big label because you could probably sustain yourself. So that's
Yeah.
what I think is going to continue to keep happening a lot. That's one of my biggest predictions for this year. What do you
Okay.
think?
I think what I see happening right now as well. I've seen a few DJs who've been doing this in the last year. Is they've been ditching management and bookers and hiring people themselves. So you're not going to like this management office where like these six managers are working for 20 artists and you're just one of them, but you just hire a manager yourself and you pay him a monthly salary instead of percentages, and that person works for you 100%. All the hours they work is for you, because I think that a lot of artists are struggling with being in the spotlight with one of those agencies. If there's 20
Mhm.
artists who need management at one office and there's just six managers, you'll never get all the attention that you deserve as an artist. And a trend that you see right now, and I think that will be developing in the next few years to a bigger scale, is that artists who have the money, actually, who have like the financial upside of hiring people, they will start hiring managers and bookers and label managers for themselves, just to have them working 100% for them and not to split their time into three other artists.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I could see that happening for sure. It
And
makes
it,
sense.
and it's actually what you say. Yeah, it's actually matches what you were saying. They're a business, so they're just actually hiring people to work for them.
Right.
And in the old school model, it has been management offices and they take percentages and stuff. But now they're actually putting people on the payroll, which is new because you're a company.
Right, right. Makes sense.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be, yeah, we're going to see more of that in the next few years with artists. I believe, actually. Um, and what about your future? Do you think, how do you, let's go crazier, like it could be something really, really unreal, or it could be something that could be real but is far away from our life right now. What do you think, or how do you see the world with music in 10 years or 20 years?
That's a tough question. I feel like I can't even think 5 years, and let
Take
alone
take
10,
it as far
15.
as you can. Like, what do you think
Well,
is doable, and what's a technical thing that could be here in a few years, which could be
mhm.
cool?
I definitely think VR is going to be a big player, where people can just either put a contact in their eye and be at a festival and be experiencing that. That would be really interesting. And I guess anything that where people can have an experience and not necessarily have to leave where they're at to have to travel and go far. I think that VR is going to be a big player in changing the music industry, and I can't wait. I think it's going to be cool. I think people are going to just be able to, just drop in wherever they want and
Yeah.
feel like they're in a different world. And the two worlds are going to collide where people are going to choose, I just want to live in a VR world the entire time. And maybe there's going to be cameras where they can like dance next to the DJ booth, like, and not even be in the crowd. They can just change their
Yeah.
location of where they're at. I don't know. That's my biggest prediction, I guess. What about you? What do
It's
you
fun
think?
because one of those, yeah, well, in like a minimum size, it's already happening because Snapchat, it has that function where you can just look on location. So let's say there's a festival and you can pick that location and you
Mhm.
can watch from all the cameras. So you actually
Right.
already have different perspectives on the stage or whatever. So it's like a minimalistical version of what you were saying right now, but I have something that really matches your answer as well, but that's more because I'm having a baby coming up right now, and I was thinking about the future. You know, like we went out when I was 16, when I was 18 years old. We started going out in my hometown, drinking beers with friends and stuff. I really believe that that world is going to disappear on a high pace. I think within 10 years, the whole world of liquor and tobacco and all those things, it's going to be harder and harder to get it. And you've already noticed it in the last few years. Drinking has been more expensive. Smoking has been more expensive. Sometimes it's illegal to smoke somewhere or inside on public places. I believe that those kind of things, like bad things for the body, are going to be too expensive and too hard to get. And I think going out to bars or clubs or whatever isn't going to be that fun anymore or not fun enough for children to go to. So they go in a VR place. I think children in 15 or 20 years will put on the VR glasses at home on the couch with friends and they go to a certain online festival or an online club or and they don't have drinks, they don't have smokes and whatever because it's illegal and it's hard to get and it's expensive. So they do it at home in their virtual reality.
That's interesting. I definitely agree with you in terms of the negative consequences of like drinking and smoking. I definitely think that's going to be more on the decline as people learn more and more about health
Mm-hmm.
and turn towards a healthier lifestyle. So that's interesting though. Would never think that they would go towards being banned, but anything's possible.
Well, it's already happening, I believe. Like countries as Sweden and stuff, liquor is so crazy expensive over there, and
Oh wow.
in the Netherlands as well. If you have a look at the prices of a cigarette compared to 10 years ago, it like triple doubled. You know, like it's crazy.
Wow.
So I think looking at the moment where we are right now, like everyone's so consciously working on their health, like healthy food, bio, all those things, which are already happening at this moment. So I think if you take it on a longer spectrum of 10 years, those things are going to get crazy expensive, maybe even banned because it's just too unhealthy for the body. And
Yeah, interesting.
that has a negative effect on the industry because the industry has a lot of those negative influences, you know, like liquor and drinking and smoking and stuff. It's just a part of the places where we play the music and where the festivals are, and it's just an important part of the industry.
Hmm. Yeah, someone actually emailed me today about stats about ecstasy, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to post this?" I'm like, "No, that's okay. I'm really trying to not promote drugs.
Exactly.
I want people
Don't
to
make the link.
understand." Yeah, like our community, especially a lot of my friends, like I don't really do drugs, and that's not something that I think we should be promoting and talking about and continuing
Yeah.
to fuel that fire. So Obviously we've talked about drugs in our magazine, and we always promote, like, if you're going to do it, be safe, make sure you're testing everything. But so that's interesting that you say even more, like, especially alcohol and cigarettes and that kind of stuff. I would be stoked if that happened. So I'm
Yeah,
all for it.
I just really believe that like we can be honest about it. It's just woven into the industry, like everywhere you go, where you play music, or if you go to the club or a festival, there's liquor and there's smoke and whatever.
Hmm.
um, and I think that's part of the entertainment industry as well, because it's an escape for people. It's an environment where people go for an escape of the normal world. They just want to have a good
Right.
time with friends, which is good, of course. But I think the government is going to make harder measurements in the upcoming years, because health is such a big financial part of the world, and it's becoming expensiver and expensiver, and more people are getting sick and people are getting older. So I
Hmm.
believe that's going to be a big problem in the future.
Yeah, and I hope things like marijuana are easier to obtain because that's a healthier alternative. And especially like CBD, there's so many amazing studies that have been done with that. So I think that if that is becoming more popular, it seems like, especially in America, that's going more towards that.
Hmm.
I think that more alternative, natural solutions are where things are going. So I'm all for that.
Cool. Okay, so yeah, let's just take this conversation to an end. I really want to thank you for the nice conversation, and yeah, I just want to mention it again. I really think this is a perfect example for people to see how a connection can be made, and how a connection can be how do you say that, nurtured, actually. And I think this was interesting. It's something different than I normally. It's some different subjects than I normally talk about with people. So thanks for that. Good luck with the magazine, and hopefully I'll meet you sometime somewhere in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure talking with you and getting to know you. And I just want to throw it out there, anyone watching, I want to get more into helping artists more one-on-one. So I will be having a bunch of stuff coming out soon. So definitely follow me on
Where
all
can they
social
find
media
you?
platforms. So my name is spelled differently than most people spell Denise. It's Denice. And then on Instagram and all of my socials are Denice DB underscore. So you can follow me there, and you can follow the magazine. It's either EDM World Mag or EDM World Magazine everywhere as well. So feel free
Awesome.
to check out the free trial and or hit me up, ask me any questions. I love to be able to help people as much as possible.
Awesome. But they will probably do it. I will
Awesome.
make sure they do it.
Perfect. Sounds
Cool.
good.
So thanks again, and have a good day.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.
Bye.